What's up, everybody? My name is Maddie Sims. I know it's been a minute, but I want to make a new video today talking about, I guess, the state of fan apparel and jerseys with regards to college athletics and kind of my 2 cents on that. My big inspiration for doing this video was actually the YouTuber Urinating Tree. He made a recent video about the rise and fall of Fanatics and how a lot of sports fans have grievances with sort of the monopolization of memorabilia and sports apparel that the company has done. And he has mentioned even about the idea of buying from alternate sources in China and the quality of that. So I wanted to see comparing a Fanatics product as well as what you can get in less reputable, less official circles. So I guess with my story with Fanatics, so I got a customized University of Alabama football jersey starting in about 2019, 2020-ish. It was right around the time I started college. Got a customized one for Christmas, and I really loved the thing, and I would wear it constantly. I'd wear it to games. I'd wear it when I'd go out to bars with friends. I'd wear it to class. I love the jersey. I love being able to rep my school. But after time, it is clear this thing has started to wear out. It's starting to peel, and it's been doing this for about a few years now, but the quality made me wonder if there were better options than what Fanatics has out there. But I want to show you what I'm working with originally so you can see the two comparisons of the next jerseys that I'm going to show you. Okay, so you see in the footage, it might not be the best quality. The front, the number's starting to fade. It's getting kind of pink because the crimson dye is starting to bleed through after a few wash cycles. There's a little bit of peeling, but it's not terrible. Where you really see it is on the back and specifically the number. That's where the peeling is starting to happen a lot more. So that's why you see the consideration of about after 5 or 6 years wanting to invest in a new jersey that I can wear to support my team. Right, so here we have contestant number one, which is the Fanatics jersey that Nike and Fanatics released for all of the Nike fan teams for college sports. This is the 2026 version. There's some slight changes, mainly on the font on the back, just being a little bit bigger and more bold, but it's still very much functionally an identical jersey. Here's the one though that you're probably a lot more interested in. This is the one I ordered off of DHgate about a few weeks ago. It took about 3 weeks to come as compared to the typical 5 to 7 days it takes Fanatics. And so far, it looks fine. But it's one of those jerseys where it's good from far, but far from good. And let me show you as I step back where you see this kind of stuff. There are a few things that just immediately come to mind about this jersey that you can tell that it's a counterfeit. One is the look at these sleeves. These sleeves go like most of the way down my arm. Like they go like a few inches up from my wrist. It almost is like they wanted these jerseys or thought that they would be meant to be worn with like pads on. And that's just not simply the case. I mean, I did follow the typical practice, which is to go a size up from what your normal size is, as that is what many people online would recommend with this stuff. But I shouldn't expect to have a torso that's fair and the proper size and then have sleeves that literally go to my wrists. The collar. I look like I'm wearing like a vampire cowl, like I'm freaking Dracula or something. Like I want to suck your blood. Like what is this? This is like ridiculous. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but right here, the white, that is a fabric marker I used. That originally came stitched red. I used a fabric marker to make it white to actually imitate the real jersey. From a distance, it looks pretty good. But as you can see, even with the other stuff, like one leg is shorter than the other. If you're looking even more detailed, look at the asymmetry of this logo being kind of way up higher. Like it should be about here is where the Nike logo is in comparison, and instead it's over here. So when you look at it from far, it looks pretty good. But when you get close, you can immediately tell that this is not Nike, this is not Fanatics, and this certainly isn't from America. It's from
China.
Also, another thing to mention is this jersey feels a lot heavier in terms of the material they used. Not so much in terms of weight, but in terms of like the temperature. Like the material that Fanatics and Nike uses is a lot more breathable. So on a hot 90-degree summer day here in Alabama, as I'm recording this, this jersey is a lot more uncomfortable to wear. And you also have to consider the fact that Alabama daytime games in September are very much in those range, and this would not be a comfortable jersey to wear when attending a game, even as compared to the other one, which those jerseys are still heavier than say like one of those like popular little wicking polos that everyone seems to wear to game day if you're down here at Alabama. But this feels heavy. Like this feels like it's almost like a winter jersey. Not that they specifically make them for winter, but this is something you want to throw over like a hoodie or a coat. Want to like this jersey. I really do. It's clear that with the college football jerseys Nike licenses out to allow Fanatics to make is basically on par with their Nike game series for the NFL. I'd love to at least see them make a series for college that's comparable to the limited series. I don't expect them to be releasing Nike Elite jerseys for college, given that the price range on that is absolutely absurd. And generally, the people buying college jerseys are younger than NFL fans, and therefore they would probably need to consider the pricing on that. So I wouldn't expect a Nike Elite, but can you give us at least a Nike Limited equivalent jersey for college so that we don't have to resort to these terrible offshore stitched just disaster classes? Frankly, the only reason that I would say I would recommend a jersey like this is not even necessarily for wearing it. The one thing that I could make an argument that it would be compelling to be useful for is say you liked framed jerseys and you want one signed. I think it'd be a lot more economical just to buy one of these that's like 20, 30 bucks and you get it signed and then you just frame it. Why spend 150 bucks getting a player's jersey that's not even comparable to the quality of the one they wore on the field when you can have this where at least it looks like it enough from a distance, and especially if you fold it up and hide all of the obvious sort of missteps that these unofficial jerseys have. That's like the only use case that I think it could be okay, but I'm really disappointed. I'm still gonna keep this because it was only 20 bucks. And at the end of the day, for a jersey that's 20 bucks before import costs and shipping, it's not terrible for what it is. It's just not a comfortable jersey. It's a baggy and awkward looking jersey. I mean, I showed my friends, I was like, which one do you guys think looks better? The official one or this one I got off of DHgate? And they were immediately clowning me for having such long sleeves in the collar. Like they thought it looked terrible. And I know there might be people who would be like, "Oh, you didn't buy from the right seller." The problem is these websites are so pervasive with options. And yeah, you can go look at reviews to see which ones are better than the others, but you still will likely end up with something like this. At least this resembles an Alabama jersey. It looks like it. It's not perfect. I'm guessing this is probably one of the better suppliers, and it still just does not look great. The fact that I'm having to use fabric markers just to correct little imperfections to make it look more realistic, I feel like that speaks for itself. Changing out of that jersey, this is one of the Nike limited jerseys that I was talking about. This is a Tua Tagovailoa one when he was with the Miami Dolphins. It's a Miami throwback, but anyway, I studied business in college, not only just in undergrad, but I have my MBA. And I feel like Fanatics is hitting this awkward dilemma. To generally be a successful business, this is a generalization. This isn't true uh, concrete facts, but you can either be two of the following three: cheap and fast, cheap and good, fast and good, and fast and cheap. Like you can't really master all three of being cheap, fast, and good, or otherwise you're going to end up in a no man's land. I guess to compare the matrix of when I got these and sort of how I feel about them, my Nike jersey I ordered on July 11th. It shipped on the 15th and it arrived on the 16th. For cheap, I would give it about a 4. It was 150 after taxes. Is that offensive? No, but it's still a little more than I think that jersey should be priced at. I really think that should be about 100, 110, $120 jersey. So a little bit more expensive than what I think it should be on the surface. But at the same time, I also expect to be spending in that price range when looking at an official jersey. Fast, I'd give it a 9. It showed up in 5 days. I mean, that isn't the fastest in the world, but for a custom jersey, that's pretty fast. And unless if I had a blank jersey at a store and I had them press it the day of, that's really the only thing I would give it a 10 over. But I definitely think they're fast, and that's kind of what they built their brand on, was being able to deliver sort of apparel after like Super Bowl when these other manufacturers couldn't keep up. And then good, I'd give it about a 6. I'd say mine is actually pretty good, and it's not just because it has my name on it. The reason why I'm giving 6 generally to Fanatics is because I see lots of people complain about quality control issues. And when it's good, it generally is good. But the problem is if you're having consistency issues in production because you're so worried about it getting it so fast, you're going to lose customers, especially when the whole premise is it should be good. It is the official one. It isn't just like, oh, we're the McDonald's of sports apparel. That's what you are, but you at the same time you have official licenses, and that creates the problem is where the one thing they consistently are is fast. They should be fast and good, but they aren't good, and they definitely aren't cheap. So they're fast. They aren't terrible, like I'm guess I'm being harsh by saying they're not good, but they aren't terrible, but they aren't great. And I feel like to be the official sorts of apparel sponsor for so many companies and basically almost have a monopoly on it, I'd want to see better in terms of good. You definitely got the fast down. You need to get the good down if you're Fanatics. Now let's do that same exercise with DHgate. So cheap, I think this is an easy 10. You're not going to find a jersey that looks to resemble an official jersey at that price point. You'd be hard pressed to go to Walmart and find the ultimate, most lazy sort of jersey look-alike that really doesn't even look like an official jersey. It's just supposed to be fan apparel, and it's in the shape of a jersey for that price point. So that is an easy 10. I think DHgate has got the cheap down better than Fanatics has got the fast down, and even then, it's not even that Fanatics and Nike are bad at fast. As for fast with DHgate, that is a 2. I at least got it. And that with websites like this, they don't always have the best reputation of even showing up. So the fact that it actually arrived is something. And the fact that it showed up in 3 weeks, I give it a little bit of credence. It was supposedly saying it was going to take a couple months. And the fact that I got it in 3 weeks, I would say is still impressive. With that being said, most things now ship within a few days if you're bringing it into the country. And while I know that I wasn't shipping in something domestically, given the fact that I was having to pay import fees on this jersey, it's still, if you're a business, that isn't the way to necessarily maximize. But you'd hope, with having being so far from your clientele base, that the quality, the good, if you will, would be better. And I gotta give it a 3. It is half as good of a jersey as the Fanatics one. I know I talked about how Fanatics and Nike have these quality control issues. Well, it's mainly Nike allowing Fanatics to produce it with their word mark and their logos and trademarks and stuff like that for not only just jerseys but other apparel that Nike licenses. But that jersey was half as good as the Nike one. And that's saying something because it looks like on paper it should be a better jersey, but it's not. And that's the frustrating part. So you understand what you're getting. And DHgate, it is cheap. It is all in on the cheap. You'd hope it'd be good enough. I would have liked to see, in theory, it'd be around 5. I wouldn't expect it to be on par with Fanatics, but the way you see people online talk about these jerseys, you would think it'd be just slightly behind the Nike and Fanatics apparel. And I wouldn't even say it's necessarily half as good. Like that's just where I feel about it is it's not as good as I would thought it would be. And I'm not even expecting to have all these big expectations. I guess the moral of the story is you get what you pay for. You buy a $150 official jersey, you get a $150 official jersey. You buy a $30 knockoff jersey, you get a $30 knockoff jersey. I think what's frustrating is you would want a company like Fanatics to generally do better and be better, given that they're in the position to be the official supplier for most of these jerseys. And you want more options and you want better quality and more consistent quality. And it resorts to people feeling the need they have to look online to see if they can find one that's not only of better quality, but it's cheaper. And yeah, I mean, if you want to support your team cheap and you're willing to make these sacrifices, there's definitely options with DHgate. But I feel like as fans, we deserve a little bit better. It, it's just incredibly frustrating to see these price points on jerseys now, where the NFL game series is like 150 bucks, the limit is in $200 to $300 range, and the Nike Elites are over 400. You'd want better quality, but you'd also want it to be you want better quality for the price point. If you are going to be handing over big bucks, you want to make sure it's actually consistently good. And when you see people airing their grievances about nameplates being upside down, player names that are routinely made being spelled wrong, I understand why YouTubers like Urinating Tree are promoting more of these look elsewhere, look at sites like DHgate to see if you can find something on par or even better than what you can get through Fanatics. I guess to wrap things up, the state of jerseys and sports apparels is frustrating, with Fanatics having the stranglehold it does over what seems like the entire industry. And not just jerseys, not just sports apparel, but also memorabilia. I think the big thing right now that is really exploding are trading cards since their acquisition of Tops. Like you almost want competition in there to force them to make a better product. And by them essentially having a monopoly or at least a very strong hold over the industry, the fans are clearly the ones who take the brunt of their bad decision making. It's just frustrating. I understand why fans want to do it. Hell, I wanted to see if there were better alternatives, and that's why I did this sort of little experiment to see, hey, is this jersey that costed $30 that looks even more realistic on the surface than the ones that Fanatics offer? Is it better? And I wanted to. I really wanted it to be better, but it wasn't. I, I don't even know what to tell people to do. If you want official stuff, you're gonna have to get it from Fanatics, but I guess just be more smart with your money. I, I, I just feel kind of defeated about this. I want better products. I don't want it to be through the moon and it still be terrible quality. And I don't want it to be so cheap that it has zero quality. Like, how hard is it for us sports fans just to get decent quality jerseys that don't disintegrate in 6 years because they're ironed on instead of stitched? How hard is it? And I think that's why we're in the state we're in and why Fanatics has such a polarizing reputation that it does in sports circles, as well as why DHgate also has a generally positive, but also a very, you're taking knowingly taking a risk while going through them. You might get your jersey, you might not. You might get the jersey you thought you ordered, you might not. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. That's just the way it goes. My jersey was somewhere in the middle, which is kind of surprising for how DHgate is. It at least looked like a jersey from far, but it doesn't look good from close. I don't know. Anyway, I know it's been a few years, but I'd like to thank you all for coming back and watching me after all these few years that I've been away. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I don't know when I'm going to do any more content, but for now, this is it. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Roll Tide.